Hold on, we have a plant situation we need to take care of here. This guy is kind of fallen over, so we need to prop him up. There we go, little guy. Oh, I just spilled it everywhere. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another YouTube video. And in this video here today, we are going to be testing out a new plugin from Nudist Audio. And to be honest with you, I have no idea what the plugin does. It's kind of like a pitch shifter, but there's also different modes for the pitch shifting. And it kind of has feedback in sort of weird ways, and there's also a distortion, and you can also modulate things with different waveforms. It's really totally wild. It's just a crazy plugin. All right, so the plugin is called Fermenter. As you can see, this is the whole interface and everything. This timbre thing, so this is basically the pitch shift that I was talking about. You can go up or down a fifth, a seventh, or an octave. And then there's also this continuous mode where you can go like literally anywhere in between. Now you also have different modes, so there's A, B, and C. These each do kind of their own thing. I don't really know how to describe them to you. I'll just play them for you later. We have this little tone area where you can adjust the sound pre and post effects. Then there's also a boost feature, which I really like because it just makes it sound nice and thick. And then the advanced tab is where it gets crazy mode. So this is where you'll find the modulation, and these are not natively modulating anything. You have to assign them to whatever you want to modulate. And then there's also the weirdo knobs with distortion and contort, which again, not really sure what that does. But nonetheless, let's just actually listen to how this thing sounds. So I'm going to demo the plugin with my J-Mascis Jazzmaster. Check out that video up there. I'm just going DI right into my audio interface. But you can and should use this plugin with a multitude of different sound sources. Alright, so the first thing I will say is that the plugin is pretty CPU heavy. But then again, my computer is fairly old and I am screen recording at the same time. If the video looks weird or anything, that's why. You can see that the presets are most moral to least moral. So like least crazy to most crazy kind of a thing. I'll just go through and play a few of them so you can kind of hear a little bit of what this thing does. For whatever reason, I spent so much time just making a bunch of my own presets, so here's a few of those. This is the first one I made. Alright, so now that we have kind of a general idea of what this plugin can do, ranging from pretty cool like lo-fi modulated sounds to just absolute utter insanity, I think now we should just go ahead and build a preset from scratch so you can kind of see what each individual feature does. So if you keep it on 0 for the timbre thing, it will definitely still affect your sound, but it's not going to be as exaggerated as if you were to mess with the pitch, so we're just going to put it on +5. So this is type A, this is B, and this is C. They obviously all have their own individual tonal characteristics. The amount knob controls how extreme that effect is. So if we have it all the way down, basically just a clean tone, all the way up sounds like this. And then the fullness knob, not 100% on what it does. I feel like it adds some sort of filter, but also maybe doubles the sound. I don't really know. You can just hear it for yourself. And the tone is obviously going to be like an EQ. If you go to the left, I believe it cuts the high end and boosts the low end. And if you go to the right, it boosts the high end and cuts the low end. And it gives it a different sound whether you do that with the pre or the post knob. Now the boost is really cool. It just kind of accentuates certain frequencies and also gives it like a little bit of drive kind of as well. This is no boost. And this is with boost. The advanced tab, I am going to show you some crazy things. Alright, so here is the distortion all the way up. This is the distortion about halfway up. Unless I'm going for something like really insane, I usually don't do more than like 0.2 on the distortion. The sound of the distortion on its own I'm just not a huge fan of, but I like it in small doses. Alright, so now the part where you can get really insane is the modulation feature. So either of these waveforms you can click on and drag them onto any parameter you want to modulate. So let's say I want to modulate the amount. If you've ever used Serum before, this is a very similar process to Serum. This green bar shows the area that the knob is modulating within. So it starts at 80 and then goes down to like wherever this is, about 50%, and then goes up to max. And doing that gives it a little bit of like a tremolo-ish kind of effect. But what we can do is change the way that this waveform functions. So if we make this a triangle wave, the modulation is not going to happen as smoothly now, and then we can also increase the frequency so it happens really fast. And then what you can do is actually click on this green bar and drag up or down to adjust the area that it's actually going to modulate. So if we go all the way, this will sound really crazy. And then I'm pretty sure this offset knob just changes like where the starting position is. So if we go all the way to the right, you can see that the amount knob goes way more to the right than it does to the left. Okay, so now crazy thing you can do is take this modulating waveform and modulate these parameters of this waveform. So let's go ahead and take this sine wave and modulate the frequency. And you can hear the speed of the tremolo is kind of changing over time. And that just provides endless possibilities, and you can go totally wild with that if you want to. So right now the blue one is modulating the frequency of the green one, but you can also take this and modulate other things with it at the same time. One of my personal favorite things to do is take kind of a slow moving sine wave and then drag it onto the timbre thing, and then take this bar and drag it down pretty small so that it's just ever so slightly kind of modulating the pitch. And it just gives it a very subtle little wiggle and warble to it. I'm gonna add in this contort feature just so you can kind of hear how it sounds. When you adjust it, it gives you like a frequency at which it's kind of like modulating things. Do not ask me for the specifics, I don't know. But it just makes your sound really crazy. So you'll hear. What I like to do is bring the frequency down really low. For just kind of some subtle movement in there, but be warned that it will mess with the pitch of your signal. So a lot of times I won't even really mess with this. But now that we have this whole kind of preset going on, we can just throw a wrench into the system and change the type. As you can hear, it sounds totally different with B. And sounds completely different with C. So that's kind of a basic walkthrough of what each of the features does. There are obviously infinite different possibilities with all the modulation options. We've tried it with guitar a fair amount. I think I want to try it on bass guitar now. I don't know if it's really built for bass guitar. I don't know if this will sound good at all, but we're just gonna try it anyways. Oh yeah, that sounds really good actually. I've noticed that the octave down ones don't really sound very good because you can't really get very much audibly lower. Yeah, it just basically sounds like a clean tone. Okay, yeah, so obviously bass sounds really good as well. This could be a great plugin for just adding a little bit of grit to your DI bass. All right, so for the last little test here, I want to hear how it sounds on drums. I'm going to use a drum loop from my Lo-Fi Indie Drum Pack. If you don't have it, you should definitely go check it out. Link in the description below. It's perfect for indie music or anything where you need like muffled, muted kind of drums. All right, so we have it routed to the mixer and we're just on default. We're going to see what happens if we do -12. Okay, that's really cool actually. It just adds a little bit of beef and then just kind of adds this like phantom swirling open hat in there, which is really cool. Let's just go ahead and try some of the presets. We're gonna do this popcorn ceiling one. Okay, so that's something I just realized by looking at this prepare your ears preset. You can actually use the modulation to modulate the type as well. So yeah, at this point, I don't really know if there's a whole lot more I can say about this plugin. It's obviously really insane. There are so many different things you can do with it. The possibilities are literally endless, which is really cool, and I think we need more plugins like that just give you kind of endless creative freedom to do whatever you want and create like new sounds that have never been created before. The way that it functions really similar to Serum with all the little modulation features and everything, just allow you to do so many different crazy things that you wouldn't be able to do with a normal effect plugin, because you can have a pitch shift plugin, you can have a distortion plugin or whatever, but this literally is just something new entirely. But although this is a great plugin, we do have to talk about some of the cons as well. Because the plugin is so crazy and wacky, it's almost more difficult to get normal sounding sounds out of it than it is to get crazy sounds. When I was making a few of these presets for myself, I was trying to get stuff that would be like musically usable, and it took actually a pretty decent effort to like not just go totally wild with all the knobs. You want to create sounds that are still unique and cool, but don't go like totally overboard to where they're unusable in any music. Also, I would say that the plugin has a little bit of a learning curve at first, like trying to just figure out how to get anything that sounds the way you want it to sound. So the big question overall, is Fermenter right for you? I would say if you're looking for just normal guitar tones that don't have a lot of craziness to them, or maybe you have like absolutely no experience with sound design and don't really know like modulation and what any of this stuff does, it might not be the right plugin for you. But I would say if you want to get wacky and you want to get weird and you just want an effect plugin that is unique and is something new, then this is definitely a great option, because you don't see too many plugin companies doing stuff like this, that's for sure. So yeah, that is pretty much going to do it for me in this video here today. Big shout out to Nudist Audio for sending over the plugin. They did not pay me to make this video or anything, they just gave me the plugin. But if you want to check it out, feel free, there's a link in the description below. I appreciate you all watching, and I will see you in the next video.